Greetings, everybody. Robin here from Courage is the Cure. Today is Saturday, the 4th of May, 2024. It's a special Saturday. I'm joined by Martine Shepherd from Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay. Let me add her to the stage. Hi, Martine. How are you?
Hi, Robin. I'm great, sweet. How are you doing?
Very well. It's nice to see you again. We spoke on Relentless, and everyone can go along to Courage is the Cure on Rumble to watch that interview talking about offshore wind farms in Geograph Bay. And as I mentioned, you are from Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay, and you're an expert in marine science and coastal zone management. So you've had, or you're currently on a bit of a road trip visiting the Keep Kalbarri Beautiful group. You want to let everybody know about your road trip north of Perth?
Yeah, so as most people know that Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay started off down in the Bunbury, Busso, Dunsborough area, and that what we realised is that coming together and uniting with all other groups that are kind of pushing back for the same reasons and got the same issues with offshore wind turbines, as well as we've also connecting now with pushing back against the marine parks and onshore wind turbines. And so when we have started to connect with all these communities, more than anything, what we see is that really coming together and uniting in a way that we really comprehend what's happening on a regional and a local area. And so we kind of sort of had some chats behind the scene, and we made a split decision to come up and just go, hey, here we are, let's have a chat. So we've got a great crew coming tonight to do some presentations. And I've got a local here from Keep Kalbarri Beautiful. If you'd like to come in, I'll introduce you to Mick Mack.
Hi, Mick. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Well, yourself?
Fantastic. Yes, pretty good.
Right.
So are you from Kalbarri, are you, Mick?
Yeah, sure am, yep.
So have you had any opportunity to ask questions to your local council? Because we spoke with Martine last week, and they've had some consultation sessions down south and had a special electors meeting in regards to this. How about in Kalbarri? How's that communication been?
So our communication has basically been like we've had probably 3 or 4 drop-in centre meetings, and the council have sort of tried to keep out of it as far as possible. So they've put, yep.
And what's the plan for Kalbarri? What are they?
Yeah, well, the plan, it's huge. It's a massive. They're calling it green hydrogen to produce ammonia to transport to Asian countries. So they've got access to the ocean where they can, with a ship loader, and they can pump it out to the ship loader and then export it.
And we've got onshore and offshore, right?
Offshore. So yeah, in the main proposal part, there's something like 10,000 hectares of solar panels, and also 450 wind turbines onshore, and they were talking about another 250 offshore. None of that power comes back to Kalbarri, I might add too, right? In the process of that coastline that they're looking at is, if you look from when you're driving into Kalbarri, so it'll be the first thing you see as a tourist driving into the town, and the first thing you'll see is these wind turbines, stretched as far as the eye can see. So and including the skywalk, which is what Kevin Barnett was his last little dig. He got the skywalk built here, which has become a major attraction, and it's a bucket list for a lot of people, and also the views from there is all wind turbines. It's ludicrous, really, the ideas of what they're putting out to us. They just want to destroy our idyllic lifestyle that we've got here, and sell us as a brand,
Well, that's quite alarming that any power that would be produced wouldn't be used in Kalbarri. Where's that?
No, because they need to run a desalination to get obviously turn salt water into fresh. And the purpose of that is then to split it with electricity and turn it into hydrogen.
Mhm.
And then they get the ammonia from the hydrogen. So the whole process of it, they're saying there's no smell, there's no this or that. But we know that technology that through experience and what we've heard from other people up north around Karratha and that the plant is smelt and affecting people in the town and whatever. And the technology is exactly the same. There's no, but they're saying that it's green because they can power it with offshore turbines, onshore turbines, and the likes of solar panels as well. So, but you can imagine all the concrete and all the, the whole infrastructure of actually building it. And then this place relies on artesian basin water. And the only place that they're going to be able to get water and tap into it is directly from our artesian basin, right? And that is some of the cleanest, most pristine drinking water in the world, I believe. And they want to mess with that. And there's just a whole array of things that the high vis factor and all that sort of stuff. And 3,000 workers in construction phase, which goes for 5 years. I mean, this town in tourist times can cater for 10,000, not an extra 3,000 to 5,000 people. It's just the infrastructure wouldn't cope.
Yeah.
So how about the companies that want to do that? Are they Australian companies or are they?
That's the other thing too. So they're actually Danish. So they're Copenhagen.
Heard that one before.
Yep. Which is apparently they're here slush funding themselves out of our lazy governments that want to tick all their boxes for their zero carbon.
So
now, we're
when
all
you
for green, green energy and that, but not in this form.
So when so as far as the consultation, you mentioned that the councils have kept out of it. Who have you had come to speak with you? Is it Australian bureaucrats or company representatives?
We have talked with several different politicians on the matter, and we feel that a lot of them have been silenced or whatever. There was no communication back to us, so we're still early on in our fight to just try and get the information out there just for the general public to be able to at least get on board and then have their opinions heard. So that's basically where we stand. So
familiar story, isn't it? Trying to get people's opinion heard.
Well, that's right. And it's great you guys are there trying to inform people about what's potentially on the table. So what's the process? Is there a process you can go through to I guess, I don't know, do you have a plan to try and stop this, or where are you guys at as far as moving forward?
So, we've basically, as a team, we've formed a small team of like-minded people, and through that, we've come to terms with the pros and the cons of it all, and believe that it has to be a definite no. It's just not here. There is plenty of other places in the world with wind and sun. So the fact that they're earmarking here is because they're getting a large parcel of land that's basically been given to them on a platter. So it's a real hard basket. And the council is in the process at the moment, and that's why we're going to try and get these 350 signatures tonight. Right. To then put it to the council so then we can create the argument to the council about the rezoning of the land, because it's still classed as rural land. So, and they're in the process of now changing it for the forever, basically. It'll be classed as heavy industry, and who knows what can go on after the lifespan of this thing.
Yeah. And that's the concern, isn't it? That we don't know, nothing's been fully disclosed ever. It seems like it's always conquer and divide, have those private conversations with different stakeholders. There's not a full consultation. You didn't have a full consultation process.
They tried.
With the whole public?
They tried.
Oh, you did?
They tried. So we had, in the early days, we had 2 cowboys came over from South Australia, I believe. I won't say their names as yet, but we could drop them later. and they basically, well, they just stepped out of a bad 70s sort of B-grade movie, you know, like all in leather and whatever. And they look like two mafia sort of figures to me. But and then they were sort of, it was almost like half a joke to them, and then the consensus when they walked away was, oh, it'll never get off the ground, blah, blah. That was, the general public just thought that it wasn't going to happen. And then the next time they came back was with their website and blah, blah. And we sort of tore the website to pieces, and through that with Ishra and a couple of other people, my partner Wendy and that, and found all the flaws that they had been saying. So what they're trying to do is do the ticker box thing, like the Bowen and Albanese sort of government, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is quite alarming because I'm from Western Australia, so I understand, you know, how large Western Australia is. We are the biggest state in Australia. There are large distances between each of the towns. Martine, you're from the south and you've driven up north. I know you've mentioned Geraldton, that you visited Geraldton. You're now in Kalbarri.
Yeah.
Can you let everybody know roughly, especially people in the eastern states who don't really have any idea about distance, the distance from where you are and combating also a Danish company who wants to install this offshore wind farm all the way up the coast through Jarrow into Kalbarri, where they also want to do these things. What's that distance like there that they're trying to have these?
800 k's?
760 k's, I think. I would say 660 k's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not just restricting these offshore or onshore wind farms and this ammonia plant in Kalbarri to one little town somewhere off the coast of WA. It's the coast of Western Australia.
Yeah,
exactly right.
There's major zones. So again, we've got our Geograph Bay there. They still have one at Mile Up that's still tabled separately. They're saying they're moving further out to the ocean, but we know that the further out that they put it, they know it's less financially viable.
Yeah, well, because of
so then we've got Rottnest, then there's Lancelin, Dongara to Geraldton, and then we've got here up at Kalbarri. So that's why it's really important, because we know for the ecological imprint that this is going to have is absolutely massive to the rock lobster industry, to our coral reef systems, because what happens up here at Kalbarri is subtropical reef systems that come the whole way down the Lewin Current to us down in Bunbury, Busselton and Dunsborough. And this is why this has to stop, because the impact that it's going to do is possibly a cascade effect, which we can't even model on. We can't. It's not even possible to try and take into account all the factors. I mean, Kalbarri, you've got smashed by a cyclone not long ago. How long has that taken to recover?
Well, we're still recovering. You know, we're still doing repairs.
So that's the thing, is like you only need to have massive events like that, a cyclone coming through. Could you imagine what that might do to offshore wind turbines? Yeah, so the offshore wind turbines, if we have a cyclone come down again in this area, catastrophic.
Yeah, catastrophic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that debris that would come flying from that would come straight into the town.
Unbelievable.
And whose heads are going to roll for that? Not theirs. Yeah. They'll be in, you know.
It always falls back onto the local community to put themselves back together, because we know that these corporations haven't got their vested interest for us and these communities. It's all about making sure that the subsidies that go into their back pocket and make them very rich and fat pocket.
Yeah. So
is it about us?
Yeah. So you've only got to look at the guy, the CEO for Copenhagen, that recently came out and did a ABC report, and his main focus on the green energy side of it was that he was stating that that they would use the wind turbines at night and the solar panels during the day. And then if he'd hung around here for 3 or 4 days at a time, which he doesn't, he probably just comes up and does overnighters or whatever, but he would know that a lot of our nights are windless. So it just doesn't,
More lack of local knowledge. This is where this lack of consultation on every single level has failed from the federal government, the state government, and there's no accountability whatsoever. They haven't engaged with the community. This is ongoing. It's a copy paste process that they've done just to tick their boxes. And to be honest, it's so disrespectful for the locals, their culture. And this is what it is. It's like an attack on our culture locally and as a whole community as a nation. And this is where we need to all stand together and go, you know, keep your hands off our oceans and what makes us who we are. We're not giving that up for anyone.
The other thing is with the local Nanda people too, is that they've created division in amongst that mob there. And me and Ishra went down to a meeting a few weeks ago, and the consensus in that room was that they're basically being bored, you know, and then we just couldn't believe it. You know, it was like a bombshell for us to think that we had the Nanda on our side, and then to think that people can be bored. It's just horrifying.
As so we know, throwing money at something doesn't make it heal or doesn't make it better or doesn't really enhance a place. What does is a community spirit and people protecting what they love, which is the natural environment. We'll stop.
So you've got the meeting there this evening. So you're hoping to get signatures to hand off to the council. So hopefully they can get involved. Is that what the plan is?
Yeah, through the signatures there, then we can put it into council. And
just follow through the same special electors meeting that was done in Busselton, and through the whole mentoring program that we have got going with our amazing community down there. Like we have like experts and specialist teams and groups that have come together to support each other, mentor each other through that whole process, because no one's really had to do this. So this is where really it's standing up as communities and holding them accountable, because they love taking our money and telling us what to do. But when it comes down to going, no, you represent us, you're public servants, and we're here to remind you of that.
Exactly. Do you have, because when you had your special electors meeting in Busselton, you had Sophia Mamon down there, and she's a parliamentarian here in Western Australia. Do you have someone brave enough in Kalbarri that that might be attending this evening or aid you in the future?
Spies, you mean, or?
Well, we actually do. We do have Rod Caddies, who is the leader of One Nation, that has taken this fully on board, and he's fully aware of what's going on here. We've been in discussions with him, and I know that he has growing concerns for all of these, you know, more isolated communities, because that's the point, is that they come in and do this conquer and divide. Well, we're down in the Geo area, we know each other. We got a really strong, hardcore community down there, and we have a lot of crossover. Up here, you know, like we've never met, and you know, like we're coming together as a united front here, because this is what it is. It's all about conquer and divide, and we can't allow that to happen anymore. So we need to make our community stronger by making sure everyone's supported.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah, and just before we started recording, Martine, you mentioned that on your way you stopped in at Geraldton, and you were talking about the lack of community consultation there as well. Where are the people in Geraldton at with, you know, an offshore company coming in to try and also install, you know,
infrastructure in our oceans?
That's right. Yeah, where are they at?
So the lady that's coordinating that, her name is Kirsty Sinclair. She put an amazing article in the local paper in Geraldton this week, and she is trying to get as much people on board and attention and people coming into community groups, a bit like this, to get the ball rolling. We did a bit of an impromptu beach visit this morning, went and said hello to a couple of surfers first thing, and we had a lovely walk along the beach and had a chat to some locals there, and what they were telling us is not one of them had a clue it was happening. And when we gave our handout about what the issues were, they were all phones out straight away to do the QR code, join our community and find some information on this, because again, keep them in the dark and feed them, and think they're little mushrooms. So, it was a bit of a wake-up call to some of them. Some hardcore salties there, very unimpressed, so that was great. So we know we've a little bit of a wildfire up here as well, not literally, calm down everyone. So so we've kind of put some little fires underneath butts because people are not aware at all of what the plans are, and that's exactly by intention, all by design.
Yeah, I think these politicians, bureaucrats, companies who are offshore who want to come over here and do all these sorts of things, they rely on the fact that people are busy with their own lives. They might put a little ad in a newspaper somewhere and say, oh, they'll have 2 people here talking about it for an information session, but nobody sees it, and they rely on that so that they can say that they did give people the opportunity to come and receive information, have that community consultation process, but they know that people are busy with their own lives. So I would assume, and I think we said this on Relentless, that they've underestimated grassroots, from ground up.
We're a bunch of salties in WA. You mess with our oceans, you've got a war on your hands. Yeah.
100%. So if people want to find out more information, just like you were talking about the fellas you saw today in Geraldton, or make contact with you, what's the best way for people to do that, Martine?
So for Mick and the community up here, it's Keep Kalbarri Beautiful. That's their campaign. You're not a private group, are you? A public? Okay, so they have a page and a private group. So if you go and look that up on Facebook, and then you can also come and connect through Save Our Beloved Geograph Bay. We've connected up all the communities, so you'll see they're on our page also. And we always sharing each other's information and making sure that everyone's on the same page about where we're going as a united group, which is the most important thing, regardless if we have slight differences in the plans locally and regionally. It's all about all hands on deck here, and we're all swimming together.
Absolutely. I'll pop the links in the description for everybody to go along if they want to do that. Mick, is there something you'd like to say before we finish for today?
I just like to thank Martine and her crew for coming up and to try and unite this process, because it's been quite a lonely road for all of us here in Kalbarri we've got a small group of key people that are passionate about it, and and the community itself hasn't really had a voice in this at all. So we really want to make a loud noise. So we'd like to go national and just to let it known to the world.
Yeah, they're going to get some of that with me.
How about yourself, Martine? Is there something you'd like to let the viewers know?
Well, sentiments are back, being so welcomed and hosted up here by the most beautiful, loving people, and I think that it warms my heart. This is actually my first time in Kalbarri. I'm a bit ashamed to say that's a bit embarrassing, but it's true because I realised I was supposed. No, hell no, I'll be back again. I went to Coral Bay, but we had to stop because there was a storm coming through in Perth, and we had to get away a week earlier. So that was when I realised I hadn't actually come here. But all I can say is that the generosity of so many people down in the Geo Bay has made this possible. So my huge thanks for all of those that have supported us. They know who they are. Infinite love and gratitude from all of us up here, because without their support, we wouldn't have been able to make this road trip possible and come and really reunite not only individuals, but groups and regions that we need to understand what the complexities are, and so overcoming that, and so we can go, look, they're having these issues here, how can they resolve it, and sharing that knowledge and skills that everyone's developing. So huge thanks for the generosity to make this happen from everyone down in Geo Bay. Big love.
Well, I think I can say for I think I can safely say on behalf of all the viewers, thank you to you guys for for doing what you do, because if it wasn't for people such as yourselves, these companies would be doing whatever they like, whenever they like, and
That's right.
would not be held accountable at all. And our politicians, I might add, as well. So yeah, you have to let us know how you go, and you know, how things progress moving forward. Yeah, awesome.
Will do. Thanks so
you.
much,
Awesome.
Robin.
Oh,
Cheers, Robin. Thank you.
thank you.